Great, we're gonna pop into the sport mode. Hopefully don't run out of gas. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2022 Toyota RAV4 XLE Premium. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Larch Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this RAV4. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 33 on the highway, with power outputs being 203 horsepower and then 184 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of this RAV4. So you guys can see here in the center of the hood how it's low and flat, and then here on the sides it kind of pops up a little bit. And then coming down below, you guys can see you've got the projector bulbs here, and then you can see the LED accent light there at the very top. This right here is not an LED light, just kind of like accenting inside of the headlight. Fog light down below, and you guys can see you've got the gray trim here for the front grille. Got the Toyota logo there in the center. I didn't point it right. There you go, Toyota logo. I love the metallic gray paint here. And you know, in terms of like the, facelift here on the RAV4, everything looks the same except for the headlights pretty much. Also, the grille nostrils are very interesting, and there's the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 35mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design here on the wheels themselves. You have this beautiful metallic silver, which again kind of brings up the classiness here on this RAV4. Got the plastic molding here for the fender flares, and then also on the side of the RAV4 as well. And then if we take a few steps back, here's your full side profile on the new RAV4. And then you guys will notice we got the chrome trim here at the top of the window, body painted mirrors with more chrome trim on them, and then you've got the rails there at the very top. Let's head to the rear. Now here's a key fob. We have our lock, unlock, and then we have the opening here for the hatch with the Toyota logo there on the back, and then also the RAV4 logo as well. But holding this, it'll pop open the rear hatch. It is automated, which is definitely a nice thing to have. Now you guys can see here, we've got the RAV4 logo here on the rubber floor covering. And then if we pick this up, you guys can see the spare tire just underneath. Then popping that down, you guys can see we've got the cargo cover here in the rear as well. We've got a 12 volt here just down below. Definitely a nice thing to have. And overall storage space back here is fantastic. And press that, it'll lower back down. You guys gotta wait with me now. Now, let's finish things here in the rear. So you guys can see here with the tail lights, and then you got the RAV4 badge, you got the XLE all-wheel drive badge on the other side, and then we have the dual outlet exhaust tips here at the bottom to make it look a little bit sportier. And yeah, overall you guys can tell the styling here on the rear end of the RAV4 hasn't changed. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see here that's pretty basic from a material standpoint, but coming down below you actually get some padding here for your arm. You've got the silver trim here, and then also on the door handle. And we have one of the speakers for the sound system. It says RAV4 just above it. And then you guys can see here with the seats, really nice padding. Got the stitching, and then also stitching here in the center portion, and then here off to this side. And pop in. Ooh, wow, it's kind of reclined. But you guys can see here, we've got some vents, and then we've got some USBs down below that, and got a couple of cup holders as well with the armrest. Let's pop to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see again with the padding just down below, and then all of the silver trim, and then for the door handle. And then you guys can see here for the memory seats, we've got our window controls here off to the side, the door lock and unlock, and then the mirror adjustments. And the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, which is nice. And again, RAV4 here on the speaker. I love the design here overall. And then you can see here with the seat itself, again with all of the padding, you got the stitching all throughout. The seats actually look really nice. Apparently I can't talk today. And then you got, again, more padding and stitching down below. Got our power adjustments. Pedal layout right there. And then you guys can see you've got the hood latch release and the gas cap release right here. You've got stuff for like the lights, the windshield wipers, heated steering wheel control, opening for the hatch. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. So you guys can see you've got the leather trim all around, and then you got the stitching here on the center. We have our controls here for the cruise control, lane keep assist, all that fun stuff. Volume, voice command controls on the other side, and then controls for the center stack. Turn signal, light stock, windshield wiper stock, and that's the steering wheel. Now you guys can see the center gauge cluster here. You can see that you've got RPMs on the left side, you've got the speed over on the right side, and there's a bunch of different menus that you can scroll through here to get different bits of information on the vehicle. And we got fuel low, pretty normal on the Ben Hardy Cars channel. And then we have our eco mode, we have our normal, which Still says fuel low, funny enough. Then we have our sport mode, which makes it red and aggressive. And then we have our snow mode, which you can turn on and off, which is great. Mud and sand, and then rock and dirt. So you have a bunch of different drive modes here with the new RAV4. So here is the center infotainment system. First off, response time with these buttons here on the side is great. As for the infotainment system itself, it also has really good response time. So overall, I mean, it doesn't necessarily look the most modern, but functionality on it's great and it's easy to use. And I like how it's, you guys can see like this is the bigger infotainment system around it, if that makes sense. And this is like put in the center. Hopefully you guys can kind of see it's like placed in there. It's kind of an interesting appearance. But anyways, let's pop it into reverse. You got a backup camera right here. You guys can see resolution and all that fun stuff. And we'll see if this one has navigation. Nope. But there's that. We have our hazard light button here, and then you guys can see with the stitching down below. And then we have our climate controls here. This does have a dual zone climate system. It also has heated seats for the front passengers, and then your stability control and auto stop start button. And then you guys can see the gripping material here. This is kind of like your phone storage area, and then you can use those as charging ports. Parking brake, auto hold, and then all of the drive modes we went over earlier. And then you can see the shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission, and then you can see more tough material. And then down below, again, they kind of like really go on that rugged look with this. You can see here on the center console, then opening up again, a couple more USBs, and you can see that continues here, and then more storage space down below. Then you can see here with the glove box setup, and woo, we almost forgot up top we got a sunroof. That's definitely nice. Got the controls for the sunroof right here and manual mirror dimmer. Now here is the window sticker. You guys can see again 2022, and then here is the standard equipment with the RAV4. And then you guys can see the optional equipment. So the XLE Premium weather package. It's funny all the stuff that says that. But anyways, after everything, you can see the total MSRP here, $34,844. And let's take it out for a test drive of sorts. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood. Both the mirrors, again, they do have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are doing our test drive of sorts. Obviously, we're almost out of fuel, and it's a fleet vehicle, so I can't take it out on the road. But we can, drive around the parking lot to get back to our parking space. Even though our parking space is right there, we're going the long way. So you guys can at least see some impressions, Gotta do what we gotta do. Anyways, kind of just driving through here. Definitely like the feeling of this. I drove a hybrid RAV4 recently with the CVT, and this definitely kind of feels more normal, right? CVT's not bad, but regular torque converter automatic transmissions definitely just have a better feel to them overall. Steering super light, which is nice. See what the dampening with the suspension is like going over this little bump. Boom, pretty good. And there's a bigger one down here that we'll go through too, just to kind of see how that feels. Guys probably like, why does that kid have a camera on his head? I'm just trying to eat my lunch. Yeah, dampening's really good with the suspension. Is that a Magnum? Wow, haven't seen one of those in a while. That's great. We're gonna pop into the sport mode. Hopefully don't run out of gas. Feels good. Gear shifts are pretty quick too. It's actually really nice. I'm gonna pop into the manual mode. So it's in 4th gear. What the heck? Okay. Gonna kind of just see how the gear shifts are. Yeah, super smooth the shifts. They're not necessarily like super quick and snappy, but they're very smooth, which is definitely a big positive. I know a lot of people are gonna be wondering about this versus like the RAV4 Prime, because the Prime, right, has quite a bit more horsepower, like 100 more horsepower than this. Here's what I have to say, is the Prime definitely does feel quicker. That being said, having the 8-speed automatic, this transmission is amazing. And so if you don't want to pay the extra money for the Prime and then you want a regular automatic transmission, this is great. Again, it just isn't as quick. And then obviously fuel economy is not gonna be as good because this isn't a hybrid, right? This is just a regular naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. But I guess that this is the RAV4 to build off of if you want to do off-road stuff, is what I'd have to say. The Prime would do good because of all the power and torque, but CVTs are not as good off-road as regular torque converter automatics, and that's why like the RAV4 TRD has the regular automatic. and you know, something like the Prime, you know, that's not an off-road package doesn't. So yeah, if you're wanting to like off-road adventure type stuff with the RAV4, I would get, you know, something like this that has a regular automatic. And this is actually, you know, this would be a great package to build off of, because, you know, the TRD basically is wheels and tires and such, which is super minimal from an upgrade standpoint. So you literally could buy one of these, right? And you could just put wheels and tires, and you could, you know, upgrade the suspension and shocks a little bit, but just wheels and tires, and you have all the drive modes, and so you'd be able to, you know, go and do that fun adventuring that you'd want to do with this. And so yeah, that's the XLE, and that's our test drive of sorts. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Toyota RAV4 XLE Premium. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this RAV4. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you guys.